Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Slauson. So I'm honoring the request of people who want the showcase answer keys in a video format. So this is number 4. And the first question you're going to tell me, is it a function? Is it a one-to-one function, or is it a relation? So let's just remind ourselves of what the things are. So in a relation, it's going to fail the first test, the vertical line test. In a non-one-to-one function, it will pass the vertical line test, but it will fail the horizontal line test. And then in a one-to-one function, I'm abbreviating here, it will pass both tests. So let's see which test it passes. And I always start with the vertical line test. So drawing vertical lines, yep, it's hitting it once. So it's passing the vertical line test. So this option's out. Right now it's non-one-to-one or a one-to-one. So now I'm going to see if it passes the horizontal line test. And if I start drawing lines through, it fails in this last line here because it's going to hit my shape twice. So it's failing the horizontal line test. So that's going to make this first one a non-one-to-one function. All right, the next part, I'm going to be asking you the domain and the range. So what we'll have to, maybe for a 1.2, if that's a retake at some point, we talked about marking those important points. So this arrow, where it starts and where it stops, I do want to point out that these are brackets or closed dots. So I'm going to put a bracket around those points. But we also want to put where it crosses the x-axis. So that's at -4, 0. Anywhere it turns, so -2, -8, -1, -4, and then it does a little turn here at 2, -4, and then I already got the end. But as far as domain goes, that's where we would do the framing out. So you would frame the left, frame the right, and get those x values. So this x values, if you look at my left right here, is hitting it there. It would be -infinity. And then when it frames on the right, it's hitting it right here, and I want the x value, and I will do a 6. And it's a closed dot, so bracket and parentheses. Now, when you do the the range, you want to frame out the bottom and the top. So the bottom, we'll be looking at the lowest y value, so -8 with the bracket. That's supposed to be a bracket. And then the top, we're looking here again, you'll have the infinity with parentheses. All right, number 2. So on number 2, what we're going to do is create a non-one-to-one function. So let's talk about these in a table. In a relation, what's going to make it fail the vertical line test is that x would repeat. In a non-one-to-one function, x can't repeat. And y can. And in a one-to-one function, x and y can't repeat. So this is a non-one-to-one function. I want x to not repeat, but I want y to repeat. So my domain here is from -4 to -7. So I'm going to go to my x's and put a low of -4 and a high of -7. And then when you put these numbers in, have them go in order. Don't go -4 and then hit a number and go back down. Make the numbers work up to 7. So I could just do 0, 1, 2. None of the x's are repeating. Now in the y's, I want to make sure that I go from -3 to 3. So here's -3 to 3. Now, the y should also go up in value. Don't now have them go up, then down, then up, then down as you work your way from -3 to 3. Just make sure that you get a y to repeat. So you could have like -3 repeat a couple times and even the 3 repeat. And then if you graph them, which I'm going to do over here, here's -4, -3, 0, -3. Whoops, not there. 0, -3, 1, -3. Here goes 2, 3, and then 7, 3. And if you connected these left to right, boom, boom, you're going to see it's passing the vertical line test, but failing the horizontal line test. All right, let's say you had to retake 1.2. So again, as you go through these problems, make sure you mark the important points. So where it starts, where it stops, where it turns. I'm working on all of them here. and anytime it crosses the x-axis. All right, let's talk about decreasing. So switching to my highlighter, decreasing. So left to right, it's decreasing, and then it's going to increase. I'm going to switch colors on you. And then it's going to decrease. No, sorry, and then it's constant, which I won't highlight, but then it's decreasing, and then it's increasing. So let's focus on the yellow areas. So where does it start the decrease? That's the negative infinity here. Where does the end decrease? It's -2. Always parentheses on increase and decrease. And then my other one, it's going to start at 2 and end at 3. I don't ask about negative, so there we go. So now I want to do negative. So with negative, I'm going to switch to a different color. And where's it positive and negative? So right now I'm going to be showing you positive. But then once I cross that x-axis, it will become negative. So it's negative, 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 negative until you get to the very end. So that whole stretch is negative. And then where it starts is at -4. And where it ends is at this +4. And the -4 is a parentheses because here 0, that y value, isn't positive or negative, so don't include it. But here on this one, that y value is negative, so include that 4. All right, so state the domain. Let's frame it out. Left, right. So smallest x is -infinity. Biggest x is the 4, and it is a closed dot, so bracket the 4. The last part, I'm going to erase what I did here so we can see the graph more carefully. And where is y -8? So I'm telling you to go down to -8, which I'm doing here. And then once you go down, you need to look left and you need to look right because it's going to happen at 2 points where x is -2 and where x is 3. The last part is average rate of change, and so we decided to switch this up. These are the x values, so I'm going to go to where x is -4. There's that purple dot, and where x is 1. And I'm just going to count my rise and run. So I am rising 4 and running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I rise 4, run 5, but to get from this point to this point, I am going downhill, so I'm going to make that a negative. All right, next one. Let's talk about those important points. And I think the bell is going to ring here, so I'm actually going to pause and just do a second part for page 2.